What is maybe the difference in terms of terroir between the Slovenian Styria and the Austrian Styria, so to say? So how big is actually the difference?
There we have also divides Steierska Slovenia again. Steierska Slovenia is quite big. All in all, I think about about 7,000 hectares or 8,000 hectares. And you can divide Steierska Slovenia in another 7 subregions, or we could call it also village levels, where they have a lot of difference in soils. So we mainly work in Hallose. It's a very, very poor region, but also poor in soil. Not only the people are poor, also the soil is very poor. And there you have a lot of structure, a lot of smokiness in the wines. And the second part, where Maria and me build now our house, and where we want to also welcome our guests in future, is in Maribor region. The Maribor region is all what is between the Austrian Slovenian border and the city Maribor. And that's the second village appellation or region where we work. So Hallose is quite different also from the landscape. It's very, very steep. Everything is planted on terraces. And in Maribor region, it's more or less the same like Südsteiermark. It's just the border in between. It's the same soils components. It has the same climate, the same rain during the years. So you can compare Maribor region more or less with Südsteiermark, but Hallose is totally different.
And maybe what is really different there? So is maybe also the soil types, because you mentioned it's very poor, that I would guess that it's more stony and maybe less like fertile soil above the stony bedrock. But maybe, am I getting it right, or what is maybe the difference in terms of also soil and terroir?
Yes, you're right. When we go to Hallose, we have more or less in the whole region the same soil nearly in the whole region. It's a marl with high lime content. So we call it opok. And there's nearly no humus on top of the soil. It's sometimes we have to really dig holes into the opok or the stone when we plant our wines. It's really, really poor, and on this sides there's only growing on the south-facing sides is wine, and north-facing sides there is wood, and nothing else is able to grow there. So and it was for ever like this. And when you come to Maribor, the soils they change when about 500 meters. They can totally change from also marl or just limestone, or then even sandy or more loamy. So that's a lot of different soils what you find in this region next to the border. Same like in Austria, in Südsteiermark. And yes, in Hallose it's more or less this opok marl soil, and you have a lot of fire in the mouth when you taste the wine. It's a lot of saltiness, and the main we have about 90 or 85% of our whole vineyard sites are in Hallose.
Nice. And almost all of them are terraced?
Yes. Just a small spot of our best vineyard site, or next to Korže, Sauvignon Furmint, is the vineyard site of Iglich. There's a top of the vineyard site, there's a little plateau, but the south-facing side is again terraces. So about also 95% of our vineyards are terraced in Hallose.
And what is actually the difference between Slovenia and Austria in terms of winemaking, and also winemaking culture maybe? Because Austria, I think it's a very developed country in terms of winemaking and also wine marketing and so on, but Slovenia is more like under the radar, I would say, on international level. Do you experience also these kind of differences if you market your wines, or you make your wines, or actually talk to authorities? What is maybe the difference?
The difference is there are two main differences I can say. You mentioned Südsteiermark is very developed. Also had some made also some different phases in winemaking from the early 90s where everything went up and amazing wines. Then in the 2000s where the wineries got bigger and bigger and more made, in my opinion, more technical wines. And now I think the last 10 years again with absolutely focus on terroir, terroir-driven wines and outstanding. I think Steiermark has amazing wines, amazing people, amazing winemakers, and I think a good future ahead. In Steyerska Slovenia, or even in Slovenia, the northern part is not that developed. Let's call a Brda region. There are a lot of small wineries who make high quality wines, and this since the last 20, 25 years, 30 years already. In the northern part, it was more driven by the big wine companies, the cooperatives, and the less small wineries. That changed in the last 10 years, and in the northern part of Slovenia, in Steierska, a lot of interesting wineries came up right now. But there are also two different ways. There's, I think, one way, the absolute natural way with low influence, and on the other hand, there is wineries who focus on absolutely technique wines. That means, more, in my opinion, not that complex wines and not their so terroir-driven wines. But it's everywhere the same, where it's the evolution process, and I'm very happy in Slovenia. I think there is a lot of different ideas, a lot of different philosophies, and not everywhere the same. When you come to wineries, it's everywhere absolutely different. Yeah.
Nice. And thanks for this little introduction. Thank God I finished my nettle tea, so maybe we can change to wine. What do you think?
Super. Good idea.